What's up, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of Free Game Friday, brought to you by Thrill Sports and Entertainment. My name is Ricardo Hill Jr. I'm an NBA agent. I'm a lawyer. I'm the founder of Thrill Sports and Entertainment. And I wanted to put together this series just to provide a platform and a resource for athletes, aspiring athletes, the sports fan in general, and anybody who's interested in becoming a sports professional, and just provide a resource that can allow a community to dive into some important and interesting topics within the business of sports. But I'm going to try to do it in a way that's fun, a way that's interactive, and in a way that can keep any listener wanting more. So we're going to make this a weekly series. You'll see me on here every Friday. So go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page. Follow the Instagram at Thrill Sports ENT. And thank you for joining me on this journey. So let's dive straight into it. Our first episode is going to be called Why Are NBA Players Paid So Much? And what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the reasons why these salaries have gotten so high. We're going to dive into what's behind it, what factors go into it. So yeah, let's get into it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. You'll see I have some fun using AI and a lot of little things like that. So we'll see how it goes. All right, first I really want to talk. I'm going to bring up some stats on your screen here. This is from Basketball Reference, one of my favorite websites to go on, one of my favorite resources out there as a fan and a former player. So, 2023-2024 NBA player contracts. We're seeing the top 20 here. As you can see, you have Steph Curry was the highest paid player in the 2023-24 season at almost $52 million. And then you have Kevin Durant at number 2. Rounding out the top 5 is LeBron. Rounding out that top 10 is Paul George. And I mean, you're going down to really number 20, which is Ben Simmons. And you're almost at $40 million even with him at the 20th highest paid player. And well over that mark as you get to the top of that list. And I mean, obviously, these numbers are just ridiculous. These numbers are ridiculous, but I mean, it's well earned, and let's get into that. So let's look at the salary cap. The salary cap is essentially a limit for teams to spend on their players' compensation, how they pay their players. The salary cap for this past season was around $136 million. And basically they're dividing that up amongst 15 or so people, and that's where you see that average salary number right at $8.6 million. So yeah, we're sitting, around $9 million per player on league average, with the highest paid player in the league being paid almost $52 million. So what goes into that? The salary cap. Now, there are 2 factors that determine the NBA salary cap. One is called the basketball-related income, or BRI. And the second factor is called revenue sharing. So first, let's dive into BRI. Basketball-related income is essentially all the money that the NBA and its teams make from basketball-related activities. So, let's break it down. You're a fan. You're going to the game to see your favorite team. You went out to the stadium, you bought your ticket, you go in, you got your jersey on that you got from the store, you got your pointy finger, and you've got a hot dog. You're watching the game, you're enjoying your team. Matter of fact, you look like this guy that's on your screen right now. Yeah, you didn't expect to look like that, but that's how you look. You are excited to be there. You are loving your experience at your NBA game. Now, you are contributing to the BRI of that team and of that NBA. All that money that you spent on your jersey, on your pointy finger, on your hot dog, and on your ticket to get to the game, that goes into basketball-related income. You're contributing to the economy of the NBA. Now, there are a lot of other factors that also go into it. The commercials that play in between games, the advertisements that are on jerseys, the advertisements that you see on the court, all the sponsorships, all the media deals, everything that goes around any type of business that's related to the NBA as a product and the basketball-related activities, that goes into BRI. And ultimately, the more you go to those games, the more that those arenas are packed, the more viewership that they get on TV, then that means the team is taking home all of the money. Well, not exactly. So that goes into the second concept, revenue sharing. What I mean by not exactly when I said the team is taking home all the money is that if you're a team from New York or LA, you're most likely bringing in more money than teams that are in Oklahoma City, for example, Indianapolis, for example, Milwaukee or Cleveland, or some of the other mid-size and small market teams. Now, since the New Yorks and LAs of the world are bringing in more money, if we didn't have this revenue sharing system, they could sign Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and basically most of the highest paid players to just the teams out in New York and LA every season. That obviously would not be, as fun as that would be to watch, that would not be great for the competitive balance of the league. So the NBA uses this concept called revenue sharing, which essentially means all the teams put the money in the pot. We divvy up the numbers as we determine our salary cap, and each team has a shot at getting star players, keeping their star players, and this is why you'll see players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting offered very hefty contract extension soon. You'll see Tyrese Halliburton receive some, and you've seen players like Giannis Antetokounmpo receive really nice contract extensions in Milwaukee. Now, how they determine the salary cap from the BRI and ultimately from revenue sharing is through a negotiated process between the NBPA and the NBA as a whole. And what that really went down and determined was that the NBA players are going to get 51% of the BRI, around that mark. There's some give and take in that sometimes, but around 51% of all the money that the league brings in through BRI. So basically the more money that the league gets, the more money that the players get. It's a pretty cool process. It's pretty exciting to see it grow, especially as the game globalizes. Now, I wanted to specifically touch on these media deals. If you've seen in the recent news, a lot of people have talked about how the TNT crew and what they do with Inside the NBA might be coming to an end. We all love watching Shaq, Charles Barkley, Kenny, and Ernie. It's some of the best chemistry that you can find on TV. It has me laughing all night. It feels like I'm in a different world when I'm watching them talk about basketball. So I'd hate to see it come to an end, but essentially the reason why it might is because the NBA is in the process of negotiating a new TV media deal. In the past, in 2016, they negotiated a deal with ESPN, which ultimately is owned by Disney, and TNT. It's a 9-year deal for over $24 billion. So we're talking a lot of money, of course. We're talking an increase in the BRI. We're talking an increase in player salaries as a result of that. Now, that contract is up at the end of next year, and they're in the process of negotiating a new one with NBC, Disney again, of course, ultimately ESPN, and now they're looking at Amazon. Might have games that are streamed on Prime, might have games that are streamed on Peacock, hopefully with that NBA on NBC theme again. Man, that'd be great. But essentially, that deal is an 11-year, around $76 billion. I don't think it's been finalized yet, but it's in process. But when you think about that, man, you're talking about almost tripling the money. You're talking about almost tripling the money, or actually over 3 times the money that was made on that last deal for $24 billion. Now we're turning into an 11-year, $76 billion deal. So as you see, the NBA is growing. That viewership is there. The attendance is there. And man, that means that money is going to keep on coming in. One thing I will say though, Shaq, Kenny, Chuck, Ernie, they do get a lot of eyes, get a lot of viewership. A lot of people want to see them perform. You got people like Draymond also getting involved with the TNT crew. I believe D Wade too. Like, we got that TNT crew has had a really strong following, strong fan base. So it'll be interesting to see if when this new deal signs, if you see that crew kind of shift over to a new network. So we'll see what happens, of course. Definitely something that would be cool to watch. Now, the last thing I really wanted to do was just kind of show how all these things, the media deals, the BRI, the growth of the league, I wanted to show how it's contributed to the expansion of and the growth of player salaries. So we're going to dive into some numbers here as well. We obviously know Magic Johnson. We obviously know Larry Bird. The prime of their careers were in the 80s. So we're going to go back to 1985, long before I was thought of course. But Magic Johnson was the highest paid player in 1985. His salary was $2.2 million. And the average salary at that time was $300,000 per year per player, or for an average player. As we already can compare that to what the players make now. Magic and Steph get compared in a lot of different ways. But comparing the salaries that a top point guard was making at that time to the salary that the top point guard is making right now, it's night and day. It's night and day. Fast forward even to 1997, which is when Michael Jordan was at the tail end of his career, and obviously MJ changed the game, globalized the game, created a brand. Like, that dude was printing money for the league. So at that time, the average player salary was about $2.5 million, I believe. I actually think Magic was 2.5, not 2.2. But yeah, so in 97, you have the average player making about what Magic Johnson was making in 1985. So I think that is a testament to how the league grew within those 12 years. And Michael Jordan at the time was taking home about $30 million. Now we're going to fast forward to today, as we already have taken a look at. You got the average player sitting close to that $9 million mark, and the highest paid players getting up to $50 million. You got players like Jaylen Brown, who is a great player, obviously in the finals right now, doing big things, doing great things for his community. He signed a major deal for $320 million. And there is in 2028 and 2029, he'll be taking home, well, I shouldn't say taking home, but he'll be paid $65 million in his basketball salary at that time. Obviously, that is a ton of money. He's going to do great things with the money. But it's funny when you see like some of the older guys, quote unquote, hating on these young guys. But I get it, man. I mean, making a lot of money compared to what they made. We're talking about some of the legends of the game. But really cool to see. I'm very excited. I'm very happy that Jaylen Brown was part of that process, getting paid like he did. And it means that other players like Jason Tatum, Luka, Shea, and eventually Wemby, I mean, they might be seeing 70, 80, 90, maybe even $100 million per year. So, to wrap it all up, the media deals, the ticket sales, any type of revenue that you're bringing in through basketball, that team is taking home all of the money. All of the money. So, yeah, we're going to keep watching this globalization of the game. They're going to keep balling. We're going to keep enjoying ourselves as fans and students of the game. You'll catch me here every Friday talking with you about different business issues. So thank you for joining me on this journey. Once again, subscribe to the page, follow the YouTube page, follow the Instagram page, and show me love. I'll see you next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about some NIL stuff too, so that'll be really exciting. Thank you. Ricardo Hill from Thrill Sports signing off. Free Game Friday. Peace.